Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and in this video, what I want to cover with all of you guys is what I recommend to upgrade in the Crown of Sorrow, or at least the order of where to spend your Figments of Darkness as you acquire them. And then remember, also as you go through these seasonal challenges, you're going to be earning some as well. So if you come up here to week 1, I know Sustained Fire was one of the places you got a seasonal challenge. Up here, I believe it was the Harvest at Dawn. That one gave you a Figment. And then this week, it was from Binding. So it was the Nightmares Harvested and the Chests, because pretty sure I already had it. So I think Binding 1 is where the Figment came from this week. But they tend to give you a few, like one each week from a seasonal challenge. You've got the story quest that you'll go through. As you do some of those, you'll get some of those quickly. And then you spend more time in Nightmares Containment. You're going to be earning reputation as you do all of those things. Complete seasonal challenges, containment tiers, and open chest in the Sever to gain influence in Crown of Sorrow. So, you start getting these Figments of Darkness, and you're wondering where to spend them. Well, first thing, my idea at first of this Vestiges of Dread. They're not that hard to get, so my quick recommendation is don't do what I did and make this mistake. Now, it's probably not the end of the world because I did, focus where I wanted to afterwards. But it's not that hard to get Vestiges of Dread, I'll be completely honest. At first I was like, oh, it feels like we might need to farm these, may need to spend them. After a while, you tend to get more than you know what to do with. Now, Crown of Sorrow daily bounties rewarding those, definitely you can skip over that one. Derelict, it's like the planetary resource that you run around on Leviathan and pick up. That will actually give you a couple. Then you can increase what you gain by defeating combatants. That's not the worst one, but it's definitely still a low priority. Maximum amount of Vestiges of Dread you can carry eventually might not be bad, but again, not a high priority depending on how much you farm. Increase the Vestiges of Dread you gain by opening chests and completing patrols. Again, partial, and stuff we can't get to. Now, top and bottom, what's the order? So my recommendation is when it comes to your playstyle, some of the top row is going to benefit somebody who plays less frequently more. Because it says the first time you do something each week, if you log in and you play for a couple hours each weekend or something, you play a little bit here and there, and you spread the season out, you're not going to be somebody who farms a lot. You're not going to be somebody who spends a lot of time, like, kind of burning through resources and gathering a bunch of stuff. So you want to make your time as efficient as possible. That's where the top row is actually going to be beneficial for you. Not all of them are going to be completely necessary, but it is one of those things to consider. Because the first time you complete Sever each week, which is the story mission, you're guaranteed a high stat piece of armor. Okay, start getting some high stats. I did a separate video over the resilience stat. If you don't have high resilience, depending on your class, it's got some major benefits in damage reduction now, so make sure you guys check that one out. Click the link above and check it out. I promise you, it's something worth looking into. And you can actually focus whatever you want, to be honest. If you think you're going to be getting a high stat piece of armor from anywhere, whether it's finishing a dungeon, a raid, maybe you're running and you get an exotic from a dungeon, they all typically have decent stats. And if you want to focus into something specific, remember, use your ghost, pick whichever stat you want to be focused and relatively high. Don't forget about that one. So that's one of those little tidbits of information. But the idea here is each time you literally go through, you'll do Nightmare Containment, you'll get your Bound Presence, and then you're going to go do the story each week. You're going to get a high stat piece of armor guaranteed. Somebody who plays not that frequently, like plays a few hours each week, this actually could have some benefit for you. Not a bad place to start. And especially because you have to spend 2 in each column to get to the next column. So you'll notice here, I need to spend 10. I've spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 unlocked here, so I would have to spend 9, have to spend 10 to actually get access to over here. That's the way that works. So this is not a bad thing. Every time you play Sever each week, get a high stat piece of armor. If you got to get 2 in this first column, do this one for sure. Easy pickup. The other one is going to be down here. Gain the ability to focus haunted armor. Just as I was saying, as you earn some Umbral energy for the opulent Umbral energy, you can use that to focus Umbral Engrams into high pieces of armor. And especially if you're looking for high stats in a specific slot, for example, you can focus that one right there. First column, pick the high stat armor, and then pick the armor focusing, because honestly, the little bit of vestige that you get by picking up those things, not worth it. My mistake. It's just what I'm going to do. So that's column 1 is 1 and 2 right here. These two, pretty easy. Now, here, the first time you defeat a various treasure each week, Avaricious, probably said it wrong, it drops additional rewards. Now, I don't have this one specifically. I have seen the Avaricious treasure randomly in the Derelict Leviathan. It's when you kind of roam around the patrols areas. Every so often, you'll spot one, and he'll drop usually nothing. Maybe once a week, he'll drop something a little more. I don't imagine it's something absolutely fantastic. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody in the comments, let me know below if you have this thing and you've actually seen the drop from it. But I can't imagine, because it's just an orange bar guy who glows. You kill him. It's not that hard to kill. And if you drop something fantastically crazy, I would be surprised. So I don't think that one's going to be too much of a big deal. Down here, Haunted Alcove Chests and Opulent Chest have a chance to reward Opulent Umbral Energy. This is one of those currencies you're working on the entire season. Opulent Umbral Energy is literally used for everything. It's used for focusing armor. It's used for focusing weapons. It's used for Umbral Engrams. It's used for all of this stuff. So you're going to want about as much of that as possible. So if you open up a chest, if you open up anything, you're going to get a chance to reward some even if it's one Umbral Energy extra, not a bad thing. Pretty good spend. Now here, Crown of Sorrow daily bounties reward Vestiges of Dread. If you're doing the Crown of Sorrow daily bounties, which they're not too hard to do, it's 20 Vestiges of Dread, so it's not that big of a deal. So it's honestly a crapshoot. You could either test and see if the Avaricious Treasure gets you better rewards, or if you get 20 from each daily bounty. But again, it's 80 each day. You're not going to be struggling that hard once you get in the rhythm of things. That Vestiges is something you need to worry about. So honestly, I might even pick number 2 just even as a gamble, because I don't think you've got too much to lose. So far we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty simple. Now, first time you open an opulent chest each week, which requires an opulent key. If you haven't got one of those, you'll eventually get an opulent key if you spend enough time. It's going to give you a little description of where the opulent chest is at, roughly. Either in the pools, there's 3 locations, or in the gardens, there's 3 locations. They're not too hard to find. Just wander around, you'll get it. You get a deep sight modded weapon guaranteed. And it's likely going to be an opulent deep sight weapon. Maybe it's an opulent nightmare weapon, but you get one guaranteed. So, especially for those of you who play with a limited amount of time, this is a good thing to go for. So make sure you get this one. This is like number 5. Now down here, this is a toss-up, and this is kind of where I would say if you have 6 that you can actually spend that week, I would also make sure you get this just as equally. But if you're somebody who spends a lot of time in the game, but you're just kind of picking it up, gain the ability to focus opulent weapons. Weapons must be acquired previously in order to focus. So you're going to have to go through, and you're going to have to earn the weapons randomly from chests. So these are the opulent weapons: Callous Mini-Tool, Beloved, Drang, and Austringer. You're going to have to acquire each of them once from the random chest on the Leviathan and whatever. Once you can, then you can do this right here. Spend 7 opulent Umbral Energy and 1 Engram, and you're going to get a chance to get one of these 4 weapons. And when you do this, you actually have a chance to get a deep sight option as well, which can help you unlock the crafting frame. So even though you're trying to work on these, I would recommend probably that it's not a bad thing to still spend some money here until you're finally like down to your last frame that you want to focus into, because these are 27, a lot of Umbral Energy. This is 7. You'll be able to spend this a lot more frequently. So 5 and 6 on the top, because in the middle, increased Vestiges of Dread gained by defeating combatants. Again, Vestiges are not that hard to get. They really aren't. If you feel like you're running short, this is the first one that might actually benefit you, because you're just going to be getting Vestiges by killing everything, and there's literally always something to shoot. Whether you're doing the public event or you're roaming around in the patrol areas, there's always something to shoot. So this is not a horrible one if you feel like you're running a little short. But again, I would say up here and down here are both a higher priority. Column 4, first time you redeem a bound presence. Basically, when you go do, first time each week, you go do the Nightmare Containment, you get a bound presence, and then when you run Sever for the first time each week, you can turn in that bound presence. You are guaranteed a deep sight modded haunted weapon each week. This one, again, for that person who doesn't get to play as much, each week you're going to get a deep sight modded haunted weapon, so you can start unlocking those crafted frames for the haunted weapons once a week, guaranteed, just by running the story. Not too hard, pretty simple. Now down here, binding at the end of Nightmare Containment rewards additional opulent Umbral Energy. Now, when you run a normal Nightmare Containment and you beat the boss, I've failed it before and I've got 5, but normally everybody beats it, you're going to get 7 Opulent Umbral Energy. 7 is going to add up slowly, and I told you guys when you focus a weapon, it's 27, so it takes 4 runs of Nightmare Containment to get 1 weapon. That's a lot. But when you do this one, it bumps it up to 9, so then it's exactly every 3 Nightmare Containments is 1 weapon focus. So this is not a bad one to go for. Here in the middle, increase the maximum amount that you can carry. If you ever feel like you need more, fine. This will be a very late upgrade for me. So again, if somebody doesn't play that frequently, the guaranteed deep sight weapon, not a bad thing, again, depending on how you unlock these. But getting more Opulent Umbral Energy for somebody who farms, especially like in that Nightmare Containment event, you're like, I'm just going to spend a couple hours in there. This is going to start paying off dividends in that Umbral Energy you can have. You can hold 200, but again, getting there like faster, a little, like 2 every time, it's going to add up, I promise you. So that's a good one. Now we get here. Let's see vestiges gained by opening chests and completing patrols. Yep, skip that one. The first opulent or haunted weapon you focus each week will be deep sight modded. So that is a good one. Again, if you get enough opulent umbral energy right here, and then you've unlocked the weapon focusing, and you'll get the other one here, you have the ability to know that the first focus that you get is a guaranteed deep sight, one of the other. So that is one of those that is definitely going to be beneficial, again, for somebody who doesn't play that much. But if you want to focus the haunted weapons at all, you actually need to do this one because you need to be able to focus them. So this may be a priority if you're going to have a little more umbral energy to spend for focusing. This, on the other hand, is going to be that guaranteed once a week, depending on your priorities and order. Finally, for the final column, increase vestiges of dread gained by completing Vanguard, Gambit, Crucible. If you're doing a bunch of other stuff, you'll get more in there. It's fine. You already get enough in there, to be honest, as it is. You'll go do a strike or a Crucible match and you're getting like 200. It's not really worth this thing. So, first opulent or haunted weapon you focus each week will have an additional perk. So again, this is going to help you get closer to a god roll. Eventually, you'll be able to craft these things anyway. So I would say this is a little lower priority, but again, crafting frames do take a while to unlock, so not as bad. And the first time you redeem a bound presence each week, you are rewarded opulent or additional opulent umbral energy. So I would probably say having an additional perk, so you might get a good weapon that you can use while you're waiting on the crafting frames, is probably a better way to go. And then down here, if you redeem a bound presence, you're going to get additional opulent umbral energy. Normally you get 5. You'll probably get like 7 or 8, I'm guessing. Probably not too much more. So again, Vestiges of Dread, this whole reaping column in the middle, this is going to be the last things I upgrade. I made a mistake with these two, but I'm living with it. For the person who plays minimally, all of these like first time unlocks are going to be beneficial to you, but there are some down here that you have to get. So my recommendation is top and bottom column almost the entire way through, and then reaping minimally if you feel like you want to boost capacity here or something. That's completely up to you. But that's my recommendations for how to upgrade the Crown of Sorrow to get the most benefit out of it. And again, if you're looking at trying to unlock crafting frames and you're like, okay, I have like 41 opulent umbral energy and I have like 8 umbral engrams. Well, I can spend my 41 opulent umbral energy and I can spend, 7 times. I can go 5 of my umbral engrams and I can get 5 weapons right here. And I'm going to get more umbral engrams because I'm playing a pretty good amount right now. So I'm not too worried about those. And this is 7 times 5. If I do this, I can literally get 1 weapon. If I pick this one and it's not specifically going to be, if this one doesn't happen to be a deep sight weapon, then I have like no shot until I get more umbral energy that I get a deep sight weapon. Right now, as I don't have the crafting frames unlocked for any of these, my recommendation is do the opulent weapons here, because it's a random chance if you get a deep sight weapon anyway, and you're just going to be able to get a lot more weapons by using these focuses much earlier on. If you get to the point where like, I've got the crafting frame here done, I've got the crafting frame here done, the crafting frame here done, I need one, it's like, say I need 3 more Callus mini tools to have the deep sight frame. If you've done all the others and then you're focusing on one, that's fine. Then focus in, spend the 27. But until like most of your frames are completed, do the opulent weapons this way and you'll spend your energy much, much more efficiently. Just wanted to cover that one as well. So that is the Crown of Sorrow. Hopefully this helps make some sense of the best upgrades. Single player per week, more for farming and reaping all the stuff for Vestiges of Dread. That's mostly for the last upgrades that you'll do, just so you can just probably sit in there and farm Nightmare Containment indefinitely. It's a little time gated, so we'll have to get through the full story to unlock it all, but that pretty much sums it up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you've got any questions about anything. If you've got a recommendation that I may have got wrong, let me know. You guys can hit me up on Twitter or Twitch. I'll be back next week after GCX. I'm recording all these on Tuesdays. You may see this, but I'll be back on Tuesday streaming on Twitch. And if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, excuse me, live recording choice, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. It's a nice free way to support the channel. Show me a little love if you enjoy the content. And those of you who are YouTube members or Patreon subs, thank you for the extra support. You guys are all awesome though. I'll see you soon.